YouTube's battle against Mortal Kombat has reached an all-time high. This war has been going on for a while, but it's never been this bad. So today feels like a perfect time to talk about it since yesterday's video got age restricted and demonetized, the double whammy, which is already unfortunate, but on top of that, I'm almost certain that a robot did this instead of a real person like YouTube claims. So yeah, let's talk about it in today's video. But real quick, it's the last day of the Gamer Sub sale. Use code UNDERDOG to get free shipping on everything worldwide and also 10% off. That's an amazing deal, a huge money saver because shipping is always expensive, but depending on where you live, it can be ridiculous. Guess what? It's free now. Just use code UNDERDOG. But then on top of that, there's new merch and designs being sold today as well, featuring all the waifus from season 6. The artwork is incredible. It's not just on the cups, it's on hoodies, it's on mouse pads, all that incredible stuff. And once again, free shipping on all of this stuff and 10% off if you use code UNDERDOG, but that sale ends today, so you want to act now. Oh, and I almost forgot, any tub purchase gives you the Season 6 shaker for free. That's right, free shipping, 10% off with code UNDERDOG, but also if you get a tub purchase, you get the Season 6 shaker for free. That's an incredible deal. There's never been a better time to buy from Gamer Subs. Whether you're already a fan who loves the stuff or you've never tried it before, there's never been a better time to purchase Gamer Subs, so don't miss out. Use code UNDERDOG today or click my link down below. Thank you so much for watching the ad, and on to the main subject of today's video, YouTube's war against Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat has always been a violent game, but until about 3 years ago, YouTube didn't really care because video game violence is obviously not real. It's not the same as real violence. Now with that said, I can still understand if showing the actual finishing moves is crossing the line, because even though it's a video game, it does look quite realistic and the violence can get very extreme. So if YouTube told me and other creators that gameplay is fine, just don't do the finishing moves, that would be completely okay with everybody, I think. However, the issue is that even standard gameplay gets demonetized now too. That's the real reason why I never upload ranked matches and other fun stuff like that. It's simply never going to avoid YouTube's wrath. And as a result, the best I can do is include bits of gameplay along with my news videos and stuff like that. I can show pieces of gameplay, but not the entire match. That's guaranteed to get me demonetized. Or to put things more simply, YouTube has become way more strict with this game, but it doesn't stop there, because this website is also trying to hide the game from searches as well. In fact, even the Mortal Kombat 1 hashtag has been completely unlisted. That's right, you can still type it in if you want, but I doubt it does anything since the entire hashtag is unlisted, which is why almost every YouTuber that does Mortal Kombat content is experiencing lower views than average lately. It's gone down quite a lot actually in the recent month, which is very messed up on YouTube's part because this is how many people make a living, or at the very least it's our second job, and it's not okay to just defund that out of nowhere, especially since there's far worse stuff on this website than violent kung fu video games. But next up, I wanted to cover my own personal experience and also how YouTube is biased towards big companies when it comes to this very same game, Mortal Kombat 1. If I try to upload the newest trailer for Mortal Kombat 1, I'm obviously going to get demonetized and also age restricted, the double whammy. And obviously I don't want that, so I'm going to take extra steps to ensure that the hours I spend on this video aren't completely wasted. Because keep in mind that age restricting a video or demonetizing it is also hiding it way more in the YouTube search algorithm, which makes the video much harder to find. So not only would I get zero money for all my effort, but also way less people are going to even see it, including my own subscribers. So my main point is I'm taking all these steps and jumping through all these hoops just to make sure that YouTube does not go after my video. However, none of this happens when big companies upload that same trailer, like IGN or GameSpot, etc. If they post a Mortal Kombat 1 video, then it's going to stay completely monetized and also never get age restricted, and I know this because I can double check by not signing in and then watching their videos without any prompt whatsoever. I'm just allowed to watch it. And that's only possible if a video is not age restricted, so I know for a fact that YouTube is not going after these big companies. Or in other words, apparently it's okay for these massive companies to showcase violent video games, but individuals like myself with a much smaller reach are not allowed to. Yeah, because that definitely makes sense and is not backwards at all whatsoever. Even though my videos reach way less people than GameSpot, IGN, or any other big company, I'm the one who gets restricted. I'm the one who gets demonetized, even though I have a much smaller audience, and therefore I'm not bothering bothering people, which is supposedly the main reason why YouTube does any of this, right? They're worried that Mortal Kombat videos are going to bother people. That's why they get age restricted or demonetized. Even though it's a video game, apparently YouTube is worried that some viewers could be bothered by this content and therefore they age restrict it and hide it, all that stuff. But if YouTube actually believed that, then they would do the same thing to these massive companies that are showing the exact same content to way more people and therefore in theory would be bothering way more people with this content, yet those massive companies don't get restricted at all. It doesn't make any sense, and YouTube should honestly just allow video game violence, because they did for a short bit but then just went back on that decision, and now once again we're all fighting to avoid the demonetization. And it's not always Mortal Kombat, it can be other video games too. Oh yeah, and a minor side note, why are violent trailers for violent movies not age restricted? Why can I watch all of that without having to sign in, but video games are the line? When these films are live action, they feature live actors, and as a result the violence looks realistic and actually like it's happening on screen. Yet those videos don't get restricted whatsoever. They're allowed to showcase very realistic violence, but my video game violence is crossing the line. It makes no sense, it will never make sense. You can test it for yourself after watching my video. You can think of a violent movie and then search up the trailer, and sure enough you can watch it on YouTube without even having to sign in because it's not restricted at all. Even though the movie has real actors and therefore the violence looks way more realistic than any video game, but it's okay, and Mortal Kombat 1 is not. But real quick, something interesting I wanted to point out is that the official Mortal Kombat 1 channel actually does get age restricted, like I would, which is definitely interesting, but I think the reason why is because the channel is self-reporting on its own videos and saying, hey, you should restrict this. I don't think YouTube is actually doing it. Alright, but next up I wanted to talk about the most frustrating part. Whenever I make a Mortal Kombat 1 video, I always upload it a day in advance, and before it even gets uploaded, YouTube does check it with a robot of some kind, and almost always the video gets approved, which means it's okay. There's no reason to demonetize it or age restrict it. YouTube is already telling me this video is good to go, which is already great news, and I upload early, right? Which means that YouTube has like 12 hours to keep watching this video and see if it finds anything bad in the video before it's finally time to upload. I'll wake up the next morning, see if the video is still greenlit and okay and still approved, and if it is, I let the video go public at noon every single day Central Time. And because YouTube already approved this video with the robot, it should be fine, except it's not. About an hour or two later, the video might get age restricted or demonetized, and sometimes both, which is so confusing to me because I know it's a robot that got mad at the video. There's no way a human reported this video and then a different human saw the complaint and then reviewed it within the same hour. There's no way, because think about how many complaints YouTube must get every single minute. In order for a real human to see that report and then watch my video, I would definitely be on a wait list, and it would take at least a day or so for that video to get looked at. I think any reasonable person watching this video would agree with me. So how does my video go public and then 1 hour later it's already been reviewed and age restricted? That makes no sense. But to make things even crazier and more frustrating, I can have the video appealed, which is supposed to mean another human watches the video and decides if my restriction was actually valid. And guess what happens magically in that same hour, or sometimes even 15 minutes later? It's already been reviewed by a human somehow, and it's been confirmed that it's restricted and is not going to get approved or monetized again. There is no possible way that my appeal got put on a list and then a real human reviewed my video in under 15 minutes. There's no way. It's a robot again, yet somehow this new robot has much higher standards than the first robot that approved my video when I first uploaded it, and also did not find any problems with the video in the 12 hours it took before I made it public. And that's honestly my real issue. Have this robot, who's way more strict, be the one who reviews it in the first place, because then at least I know that no one's gonna come around later on and go, oh, this video's bad after all. If this really strict robot that restricted my video an hour after release was the same robot who reviews it when I first upload, then there wouldn't be a problem. But for some reason, there's two different robots, and that's honestly the most frustrating part. I understand that realistically, there's no way that a human could review every single video on YouTube. I understand that a robot has to do a lot of the work, but what I don't understand is how one robot can approve the video only for a different robot to get mad at the video an hour after it goes public. That makes no sense. If I'm being completely honest, YouTube, I don't mind jumping jumping through the hoops as long as the initial approval is fair and accurate. I can't stand never knowing if my video is gonna be okay an hour or two later after it goes public. That sucks. At this point in time, YouTube's system is completely broken. Whatever robot approves the video is clearly different than the other robot that can still restrict it after it goes public. I think once a video gets approved, that should be it, and you can't touch it afterwards. Otherwise, that's not fair. In fact, even if somebody reports the video, it should take a day or two to get reviewed if there's an actual list, right? Because otherwise, there's no way a real human is reviewing it to flag the video in the first place. And also, when it does eventually become time for a manual review, it should have to be a real person at that point. Even if it does take a day or 2 days for the video to get reviewed, I think that's fair because I requested a manual review. It's time for a real person to look at my video, which would also be fair in my opinion, but I think the average viewer has an even more extreme stance than mine, where they think that video game violence should be okay regardless, no matter what, because it's not real. And I think that perspective makes sense too, especially when violent movie trailers are allowed on YouTube despite looking way more real and being way more graphic. I think that perspective does make a lot of sense, but I guess I'm just used to having to deal with all this nonsense. I just think recently, in the past 2 years or so, it's gotten over the top and become ridiculous. I can't even play a video game online without fear of it getting demonetized and being called too violent. That's ridiculous. Right now, there are so many worse things happening on YouTube that demand their immediate attention, so it's just wild that they're going after video games so hard. I find that crazy, especially Mortal Kombat 1. Why is the hashtag unlisted? I'm still not sure about that. Why'd that happen? But yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to talk about this issue because I know that every MK YouTuber is being affected by it, but I don't see very many speaking about it. So I just wanted to. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye-bye.